This morning, San Diego police and the FBI are investigating a deadly shooting at the city's largest mosque as a hate crime. Police say two teenage shooters stormed that facility just before noon on Monday and killed at least 3 people. Investigators say the mother of one of the suspects reported them missing hours before the attack and said guns had been taken from the home. The 2 suspects were later found in a car dead of self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Joining us now to break down the law enforcement response here and the broader concerns around domestic extremism is Thaddeus Johnson, assistant professor in the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology, there at Georgia State University. Thaddeus, we are so glad you are here with us today. You are a friend of the show. Police now say they had a warning call nearly 2 hours before the shooting. We're talking a suicidal teen, missing weapons, and a missing vehicle. From a law enforcement standpoint, how difficult is it to act fast enough in a case like that in a big city?
No, thank you for having me. And I think, this event shows how, tragedy can kind of unfold as police start info gathering and the response can evolve over the course of a call or report. You first get the runaway or suicidal person. You say there's weapons, and the person may be with someone who's dressed in military fatigues. It becomes a high-risk missing and public safety response, but there still wasn't any intel at that moment whether there was an active shooter or a targeted potentially coming from that. So the officers that do what they did, I think the officers responded in the correct way. They found out who the person was, what weapons are missing, the vehicle they were in, if there were threats and those types of things. I think they worked with other agencies. They used technology, the flock cameras. I believe we saw the same thing happen in the metro area a couple of weeks ago. And so it happened where the police weren't just looking for a missing teen. They were trying to locate an armed person before the situation turned deadly. But of course, the call about the active shooter, I think, came about 2 hours later.
So when you hear police were already looking for these teens, what questions should investigators now be asking internally?
Yeah, I think, there's a couple things, so of course the 2 suspects are deceased. But I think one thing they want to know is, did anyone know about it? It doesn't mean that there cannot be accountability if someone aided them, if someone knew about this and didn't carry out lawful duty of reporting. Even with the parents, I believe, if the parents, did they not secure the weapon properly, there could be some legal actions. Did they secure your property and then just they were able to get access to it? And so those are things they have to dig to. Also to see if there are any secondary or when they're going through the different evidence and things, seeing if there were maybe a hit list, quote unquote, for a lack of better terms. And I think, you want to go by and see what could we have done differently? Could have we gotten information out from dispatch? Could we have worked to get the license plate readers deployed sooner? Did we use all of our tools? So these are just some of the after action issues that investigators and police leaders are probably struggling with at the moment.
And so how does law enforcement sort of determine whether this meets the standard for a hate crime?
Yeah, absolutely. They have to follow the evidentiary profile and follow that trail, So apparently in the manifesto or some type of documentation, they found something that they believe to be associated to make it a hate crime. It didn't say whether that was targeted this particular venue, but then they'll start looking at their social media. They'll start talking to their friends. They'll start looking in their rooms or where they live to see if they had any material that may have shown that this was a hate crime, if they were targeting a certain group of people or targeting certain facilities.
All right. Lastly, we got about 20 seconds left here. Are you seeing a growing concern about teens being radicalized online? Because you touched on that a little bit too.
No, we're not really seeing that per se, but what we are seeing that hate crimes and complaints about hate crimes and things are at a all-time high. Even though it's gone down some, it's the highest it has been since 1990. So I'm not sure about teens, but I definitely think teens with guns is always problematic.
All right. We thank you so much for your input and your expertise today.